Welcome everyone to the video of reading books with Nomadland. Today, I will start with the introduction and chapter 1 of the book on dark psychology and learn how people have used to manipulate others, as well as know how to prevent yourself from being influenced by them. From Nomadland channel. Introduction.
Have you ever felt an unsettling push toward decisions that didn't quite resonate with your heart? Have your emotions ever been swayed without your permission? Or have you sensed someone gently yet persistently pushing at your personal boundaries? If these scenarios sound familiar, you're not alone. Like many others, you may have unwittingly become a part of the subtle yet powerful world of dark psychology. In the shadows of everyday interactions, manipulation, undue influence, and covert control are more common than we might want to believe. Yet there's a glimmer of hope. By becoming aware of these tactics and understanding them, we can reclaim our freedom to think and choose for ourselves. This book is a journey into understanding how love and trust can be weaponized, how the subtle art of manipulation can be masked as affection, and how to recognize and resist these underhanded tactics. It's an exploration designed to empower you, help you identify these maneuvers, provide you with strategies to uphold your autonomy, and make decisions that align with your true values and priorities. Imagine walking through life's interactions, equipped with the knowledge to discern when your independence of thought is being challenged. Whether in personal relationships or professional dealings, recognizing the nuances of manipulation can fundamentally alter your engagement with the world. This understanding is key to protecting your mental and emotional well-being. As you delve into these pages, you're embarking on a path of enlightenment and challenges. You're facing the reality of those who weaponize love and trust by learning to dismantle their strategies. This journey isn't just about identifying manipulative behavior. It's about forging a path where your autonomy and individuality are acknowledged and celebrated. This book isn't merely a collection of information, it's a guide to personal liberation. It's a call to recognize and break free from the hidden influences. Picture a regular neighborhood gathering. Here, you're not just absorbing information hosted by a well-liked couple. You're taking an active role in reclaiming your freedom, enjoying the warm conscious decision at a time. And the sound of Chapter 1. Among the guests is Emily, a recent addition to the neighborhood, who is having a chat with Tom. Emily, a soft-spoken and kind individual, is expressing her concerns about an ongoing community issue. As they talk, Tom's demeanor is sympathetic, but his words are carefully calculated. He agrees with Emily, feeding her worries while subtly steering the conversation to undermine another neighbor, whom he subtly portrays as the root cause of many community issues. His skill lies in making his manipulation appear as genuine concern, painting himself as an ally while sowing seeds of discord. Emily, unaware of Tom's true intentions, finds herself increasingly aligned with his perspective. By the end of the conversation, she feels a mix of gratitude for Tom's insights and a newfound wariness toward the other neighbor. Tom's ability to manipulate the narrative and influence Emily's perceptions without overt coercion is a textbook example of dark psychology. This scenario, unfolding quietly amid a social event, highlights the insidious nature of dark psychology. It's not always about overt domination or control. Often, it's about influencing perceptions, altering realities, and bending wills in a way that goes unnoticed by the victims. It's a subtle dance of influence and manipulation, occurring in the most ordinary settings. This chapter explores the workings of dark psychology that hide in plain sight. We'll examine the strategies employed by individuals, like Tom, to manipulate and control, often under the guise of normal social interaction. This exploration will not only make you more aware of such tactics, but also equip you with the knowledge to recognize and counteract them in your own. What is dark psychology? Dark psychology is a term that encapsulates the study and application of psychological principles and tactics used for manipulative, coercive, or malicious purposes. At its heart, it represents a side of human psychology that is often shrouded in secrecy and taboo, revolving around the use of influence, persuasion, and manipulation to achieve selfish ends. This field of psychology explores the darker aspects of human behavior, delving into how individuals can use knowledge of psychological principles to exploit, control, or harm others. This concept extends beyond the simplistic notion of good versus evil. It's about understanding the complexities and nuances of human behavior. Dark psychology encompasses a range of behaviors and tactics, from subtle manipulation to overt acts of deceit and coercion. It is not limited to criminal or antisocial individuals. Everyday people can also employ these tactics, often unconsciously. One of the key elements of dark psychology is the understanding and manipulation of human emotions. Manipulators skilled in dark psychology are adept at reading emotional cues and exploiting them for their gain. They can play on fears, insecurities, desires, and other emotions to influence and control others. This emotional manipulation is often subtle, making it difficult for victims to recognize and defend against. Another aspect is the strategic use of information and misinformation. In the realm of dark psychology, knowledge is power. By controlling the flow of information, manipulators can create environments of uncertainty and dependency. They can withhold information, distort facts, or feed half-truths to maintain an upper hand in relationships or situations. Besides emotional manipulation and information control, dark psychology also involves a calculated use of social dynamics. It includes understanding and exploiting social hierarchies, group norms, and relationships. Manipulators may use tactics like peer pressure, social isolation, or the creation of in and out groups to exert control over individuals or groups. Dark psychology is a multifaceted and complex field that explores the use of psychological tactics for manipulation and control. It encompasses emotional manipulation, information control, and social dynamics with the ultimate goal of power and influence. While it can be used for harmful purposes, understanding of dark psychology can also serve as a valuable tool for protection and prevention. Now, let's examine who typically employs these tactics and the different contexts in which dark psychology can be seen. Who uses dark psychology and where can IT be used? Dark psychology has a varied user base that spans different contexts. Contrary to popular belief, the use of these tactics is not confined to individuals with malicious intent or psychopathic tendencies. In reality, we can find dark psychology in everyday interactions, often used by ordinary people. In politics, for instance, dark psychology is frequently employed. Politicians may use manipulative tactics to sway public opinion, discredit opponents, or rally support for controversial policies. They might leverage fear, appeal to biases, or use charisma to obscure the truth and manipulate the masses. This is clear in political campaigns, where misinformation and emotional manipulation are often used to influence voters' perceptions and decisions. In personal relationships, dark psychology takes on a more intimate and potentially harmful form. It's not just about the obvious abuser or the narcissistic partner sometimes. It's the subtle manipulator who, under the guise of care and concern, controls and influences their partner. These tactics can range from gaslighting, where a person's reality is distorted, to more overt forms of emotional blackmail. The workplace is another common setting for these tactics. Office politics can involve manipulative behaviors like backstabbing, rumor spreading, or taking credit for others' work. Dark psychology here is often about climbing the corporate ladder or maintaining power and control within an organization. Leaders or colleagues may use their influence to undermine. Others foster unhealthy competition or create a culture of dependency and fear. Moreover, dark psychology finds its place in the media and advertising. Here, manipulation often comes as persuasive advertising techniques designed to exploit consumers' insecurities, desires, and fears. By understanding and tapping into the psychological triggers of their audience, advertisers can influence buying behaviors and shape consumer attitudes. Despite its widespread use, the motivations behind employing dark psychology vary. Some individuals may use these tactics consciously and deliberately for personal gain, while others might do so unconsciously, as a learned behavior or a defense mechanism. It's crucial to recognize that the use of dark psychology isn't always a clear-cut case of right or wrong. Sometimes a complex interplay of individual psychology, social conditioning, and situational dynamics. Can't limit dark psychology to any specific group or setting, but what leads people to rely on dark psychological tactics and what motivates them to manipulate and control others. This exploration is crucial to comprehending full spectrum of dark psychology. Why do people use dark psychology? The motivations behind the use of dark psychology are as varied and complex as human behavior itself. At its most fundamental level, the use of manipulative tactics is often driven by a desire for power, control, or personal gain. However, to truly understand these motivations, we must delve deeper into the human psyche. One common motivator is insecurity. Individuals who feel insecure about their position, abilities, or relationships may turn to manipulation as a way to assert control and alleviate their insecurities. By controlling others, they create a false sense of security and superiority. For instance, a manager who feels threatened by a competent subordinate might use undermining tactics to maintain their perceived superiority in the workplace. Another driver is a desire for personal gain or advancement. In competitive environments, whether in business, politics, or social settings, individuals may use dark psychology as a tool to outmaneuver rivals and achieve their goals. This can manifest in various forms, from subtle manipulation to outright deceit and coercion. Some individuals use dark psychology out of a need for self-preservation. In situations where they feel vulnerable or at risk, manipulation can become a defense mechanism. This is often seen in toxic relationships, where one partner may employ manipulative tactics as a means of maintaining the relationship or protecting themselves from perceived emotional harm. There are also those who use dark psychology simply because they can. Individuals with narcissistic or sociopathic traits may manipulate others for amusement to demonstrate their power, or because they lack empathy and don't comprehend the harm they cause. For these individuals, manipulation not a means to an end, but an end in itself. However, not all uses of dark psychology are nefarious. In certain professions, such as law enforcement or psychology, understanding and employing aspects of dark psychology can be crucial in dealing with criminal behavior or protecting oneself from manipulation. In these cases, the motivation is to serve the greater good or to protect oneself and others from harm. Motivations behind the use of dark psychology are diverse, ranging from insecurity and personal gain to self-preservation and, in some cases, malevolence. Understanding these motivations is key to recognizing, countering, and ultimately preventing manipulative behaviors in our lives and the lives of those around us. Is dark psychology good or bad? The moral evaluation of dark psychology is not straightforward. It is neither inherently good nor inherently bad. It exists within a spectrum influenced by intent, context, and consequences. To comprehend its ethical dimensions, it is vital to consider the varied applications and outcomes of these psychological tactics. In certain contexts, the knowledge and application of dark psychological principles can serve beneficial purposes. For instance, in law enforcement, understanding manipulative tactics can be crucial in interrogating suspects or undercover operations. Similarly, in psychology or counseling, professionals might use their understanding of dark psychology to help clients who have been victims of manipulation, providing them with strategies to recognize and counteract these tactics. However, more often than not, the use of dark psychology is associated with negative connotations due to its exploitative nature. When used for personal gain at the expense of others, it becomes a tool for harm. This is particularly evident in relationships or interactions where there is an imbalance of power. For example, a leader who uses fear and manipulation to control their team creates a toxic work environment, leading to stress, low morale, and high turnover. The ethical implications of using dark psychology also depend on the awareness and consent of those involved. Manipulative tactics that exploit, deceive, or coerce others without their knowledge or consent are generally considered unethical. This is because they violate principles of respect, autonomy, and fairness. However, the morality of using dark psychological tactics can be ambiguous in certain situations. For instance, a person might use subtle manipulation in a negotiation to achieve a fair outcome or to protect themselves from exploitation. In such cases, the ethical nature of the tactics used can be debated based on the intentions behind them and the resulting consequences. It is also crucial to consider the long-term effects of employing dark psychology. Regular reliance on manipulative tactics can lead to a breakdown in trust and integrity, both in personal and professional relationships. It can foster an environment where deceit, suspicion, and power games become the norm, leading to harmful psychological and social outcomes. The ethical evaluation of dark psychology is complex and context-dependent. While it can be used for positive purposes, it is more commonly associated with negative outcomes because of its exploitative nature. Understanding the ethical implications of these tactics is essential for making informed decisions about when and how they are used. Navigating through the ethical complexities of dark psychology brings us to a crucial aspect of its impact: the dangers associated with its misuse. By examining real-life scenarios, we can gain a deeper understanding of how the reckless employment of dark psychological tactics can lead to detrimental consequences for an individual's character and their interpersonal relationships. The dangers of dark psychology. An anecdote. Consider Alex, a mid-level manager in a tech company. Alex had always been ambitious, striving to climb the corporate ladder. To achieve his goals, he began employing tactics he had learned from studying dark psychology, subtle manipulation, playing team members against each other, and exploiting their weaknesses for his benefit. Initially, these tactics seemed to work. He gained a reputation as a results-driven manager and even secured a few promotions. However, the long-term effects of Alex's methods were far from positive. His team, once collaborative and innovative, became riddled with mistrust and internal conflict. The best talents started leaving, unable to thrive in the toxic environment he had created. Colleagues avoided him, and his superiors questioned his leadership abilities. Alex's personal life was not spared either. His manipulative behavior seeped into his relationships with friends and family, leading to isolation and strained interactions. His friends found him untrustworthy, and family members felt used and unappreciated. The most significant toll, however, was on Alex himself. Over time, his reliance on dark psychological tactics eroded his sense of self. He became increasingly paranoid, always on edge, fearing that others would use similar tactics against him. His personal and professional relationships suffered, and he found himself alone, both at work and in his personal life. This anecdote illustrates the inherent dangers of misusing dark psychology. While it may offer short-term gains, the long-term consequences can be devastating. It can lead to damaged relationships, loss of trust, and compromised moral compass, ultimately isolating the individual from meaningful connections and collaborations. Having explored the dangers inherent in the misuse of dark psychology, now turn our attention to the traits commonly exhibited by individuals who employ these tactics. By understanding these characteristics, we can better recognize and protect ourselves from potential manipulation and its harmful effects. Traits of dark psychology users. Individuals who habitually use dark psychology often exhibit a constellation of traits that can serve as red flags for those around them. Understanding these traits is key to recognizing and responding appropriately to manipulative behavior. 1. Inflated sense of self-worth. Many users of dark psychology possess an exaggerated sense of their importance and abilities. This narcissistic trait leads them to believe they deserve special treatment and may manipulate others for their ends. Their egocentric perspective often blinds them to the needs and rights of others. 2. Lack of empathy. A defining characteristic of frequent manipulators is a diminished capacity for empathy. They struggle to understand or care about the feelings and well-being of others, making it easier for them to exploit and harm without remorse. This lack of empathy is dangerous as it allows them to justify their actions, no matter the impact on others. 3. Moral disengagement. Individuals adept in dark psychology often exhibit moral disengagement, a process where they rationalize or justify unethical behavior. By convincing themselves that their actions are acceptable, necessary, or deserved by their victims, they detach themselves from the moral implications of their actions. 4. Manipulative and deceitful behavior. A propensity for manipulation and deceit is a hallmark of those who use dark psychology. They are skilled at lying, twisting facts, and employing psychological tactics to control or deceive others. This behavior can range from subtle manipulation to outright deceit and coercion. 5. Charm and charisma. Interestingly, many individuals who use dark psychology can be charming and charismatic. They use these traits to attract and disarm others, making it easier to exert influence and control. This charm, however, is often superficial, serving as a mask for more sinister motives. 6. Strategic and calculating. They tend to be strategic and calculating, often planning their actions to maximize their benefit. They are adept at reading situations and people, using this information to manipulate outcomes in their favor. 7. Exploitation of power dynamics. These individuals are often skilled at exploiting power dynamics, whether in personal relationships, the workplace, or other social settings. They understand how to use their position or the vulnerabilities of others to gain an advantage. Recognizing these traits can be challenging, as individuals who use dark psychology are often adept at hiding their true intentions. However, awareness of these characteristics is the first step in protecting oneself from potential manipulation. It is important to approach interactions with a critical eye, especially when encountering behaviors that align with these traits. Equipped with an understanding of the traits of dark psychology users, we better prepared to navigate our interactions with heightened awareness. Our next exploration will delve into the consequences of being unaware of manipulative tactics. Through an illustrative anecdote, we will examine how ignorance of dark psychology can adversely affect an individual's self-esteem, confidence, and overall well-being. Ignorance is not bliss. Let's follow Jenna, a graphic designer in a small firm. Jenna, known for her talent and dedication, was often praised for her work. However, her manager, Derek, a person who subtly employed dark psychological tactics, saw Jenna's success as a threat to his position. Unbeknownst to Jenna, Derek began using manipulative strategies to undermine her confidence. He would often give her backhanded compliments, subtly criticize her work in meetings, or take credit for her ideas. He also employed gaslighting tactics, making her question her memory and judgment. For instance, he would deny conversations they had about project directions, leading Jenna to doubt her recollection of events. Over time, her self-esteem eroded. She started questioning her abilities and feeling less confident in her work. The once passionate designer found herself feeling anxious and stressed, dreading interactions with Derek. Her performance suffered, affecting her relationships with her colleagues. Jenna's experience is a stark illustration of the harmful outcomes that can result from being ignorant of manipulative tactics. Derek's dark psychological strategies left her vulnerable to his manipulation. Therefore, it's important to be aware of and understand dark psychology. Moving from this understanding, we now pivot to the empowering aspect of awareness. By recognizing and understanding the principles of dark psychology, individuals can arm themselves with the knowledge necessary to identify, resist, and counter manipulative behaviors, thus taking control of their interactions and protecting their mental well-being. Awareness and empowerment. Understanding and being alert to the tactics of dark psychology is key to protecting our mental and emotional health. This knowledge acts like a shield, helping us spot and stop manipulative actions before they hurt us. The first step is learning. Knowing about different kinds of manipulation, the signs of psychological abuse, and common dark psychology tactics helps people recognize these actions as they happen. This is especially useful in certain work environments or personal relationships where there's an imbalance of power. With this knowledge, people can come up with ways to defend themselves against manipulation. This might mean setting firm boundaries, getting advice from friends or professionals, or being more aware of why people do what they do. For instance, understanding what gaslighting is can help someone hold on to their truth when someone else tries to twist it. Being aware also leads to smarter choices because it allows people to see through manipulation. This kind of independence is important both in our personal lives and at work, where sneaky tactics could otherwise influence our decisions. This awareness also means we can be more empathetic and supportive of those who have been manipulated. It helps us see the subtle signs of manipulation in others and offers the right help. When more people understand dark psychology, it creates better, healthier communities and workplaces. It becomes harder for manipulators to get away with their tactics, reducing their impact on groups and organizations. Short, knowing and understanding dark psychology gives people the power spot, stand up to, and stop manipulative behavior. This leads to better mental health, smarter decision-making, and stronger, more supportive communities. It's a big step in moving away from the negative effects of manipulation and toward more genuine and healthy interactions. Moving from understanding the basics, we're now ready to dive into the more detailed aspects of manipulation. This next step takes us from a broad view, a closer look at how manipulation works in real life. The upcoming chapter will dig into the finer points of manipulation, highlight the traits of certain manipulative personalities, and offer clear strategies to deal with and move away from toxic relationships.
End of chapter. Please click to follow the channel to support and experience many of the next attractive content with us. Nomadland. Nomadic Land would like to sincerely thank you and your friends